I put on an extra t-shirt this morning. It is nippy out here today. It's like 38 degrees here at the Lighthouse next to the ocean. It was only 40 degrees when I left Florence. Yeah, you gotta dress warmer now. But around here, it's the wet, the moisture coming off the ocean that makes it, you really feel that 40 degrees. People don't realize how cold it gets in the forest here overnight. That's why a lot of people head to southern Arizona right now. Those waves are coming in pretty good right now. Crashing against the bank down there. That even looks cold. You got Cape Creek here. The water's probably 35 degrees coming out of the forest on this creek. Sunshine is a high valued commodity this time of year. There's the bed and breakfast up there, and the lighthouse over at the edge of that cliff. I'm glad to see we're getting a little more. This stream is about 3 times higher than it was a month ago. So we are getting some rain out here. That's good. That's good news. Nothing worse than a drought. People don't understand that. Look at how beautiful that is right there. It's cold though, the seagulls are barely moving. People don't understand, if you were forced to live out here overnight, you better have some money and some technology to keep you warm. You imagine the lighthouse keeper 140 years ago? Wow. Getting up all night in the middle of the winter, freezing. Starting to come up to high tide again. It's coming up on the beach here. It may be freezing, but it's very beautiful. When I was a teenager, my dad would say in those Iowa winters, if you're that cold, go do some work. I would stop complaining immediately. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not cold enough to work. I had to run away from the camera because the tide came in. I wanted you to see the sun coming up over the bridge right there, over the Siuslaw National Forest, or part of it anyway. The seagulls are starting to move around. Just another wonderful day in paradise. There's the tide right there. Got these crows down here looking for scraps. Hey, don't I know you two guys? Don't you live in Florence, Oregon? Are you out here on vacation or what are you doing? The number to the lighthouse is 94. If you don't know what that means, it's a Coast Guard number for a Coast Guard helicopter. Now, they know all the numbers by heart, I'm sure, but if you don't know where you're at and you're a tourist or something, and you say, I'm at beach 94, they'll know exactly where you are and to send help out. That's what my dad would tell me. If you're cold, if you're bored, go chop up some wood. I was raised by a man's man. Oh yeah, this guy, 60 hours a week was just nothing to him. That's how we survived. The men who came before me worked 6 days a week and took half a Sunday off. and they feel guilty about it. That's who fed me and clothed me. Those types of men. These people pulled up over here, sitting there drinking their hot coffee in their car with the heat on. They're like, nope, it looks too cold, let's leave. And then they were here like 3 minutes and they left. Let me tell you something, I will end this video here. Now the guy showed up to clean the restrooms and everything. So here's what I was going to tell you before I end the video. It's been my experience in life in 63 years that if you want something, you have to force it to get it. Like, you may not want to get out of bed and go out there, but you got to force yourself, get up, go outside, put your warm clothes on, get your breakfast. That's what life is. Life is not easy on earth. If there's something you want, you know, Ed McMahon and Publishers Clearinghouse is not coming to your front door. No. If you want to hike the Lighthouse Trail this morning, you got to force yourself to hike it. If you want to save $100 extra this week in overtime, you got to force yourself to do that extra 8 hours and work 48 hours. You want to buy a $500 mountain bike? Well, you got to force yourself to save $500 in 2 months and then go get the bike. And then you got to force yourself to ride the bike around 50 miles a week or whatever your plan is. Too many people sitting around today. I just saw a car pull up and 3 people got out and they're gonna go up to the Lighthouse Trail. And they weren't dressed that warm. They were younger, and they're gonna hike right up there and enjoy it, you see. That's good. You wanna make bean soup? You gotta go force yourself to get it done. We split 150 pickup loads of wood at my dad's, you know, when I was being raised by my dad at the house. And then we had a fireplace and a wood stove, and we had to put our own chimney in from the basement all the way up through the 2nd floor and up. Well, it was a 1-story and a basement. So I say the basement's the 1st floor. And my dad, he did all that on Sundays with me standing there helping him. I saw how it was all done. And when my dad was putting in that fireplace, I said, how come we're building a fireplace? He said, so we can sit here at night and have a nice fire and enjoy it. I said, oh, okay. When he was putting in the wood stove, I said, what do we need a wood stove for? My dad said, you like 8-hour bean soup, don't you? I said, yeah, I do love that bean and ham soup you make. He said, well, we need a wood stove to make it proper. And before we'd go outside in the winter, my dad had put those beans on top of that wood stove, which got up to the top, got up to about 115 degrees or something. And he knew exactly what to put in it, and we'd come back about 6 hours later, and that bean soup was like drinking, you know, butter. It was so good. And I'd have 2 or 3 bowls of that, you see, because if you wanted something, you had to force it to happen in your life. No one was going to come to your door I'm looking at all those pelicans out there flying back and forth. And they're landing on that rock out there right now. Some of those are seagulls, but about 10 big, huge pelicans just flew right over. If you want something, you're not going to get it sitting in your house watching TV, that's for sure.